Some little peewee year 12 asked me, what do you do so you stay focused during year 12? It's the most important year of my life. Well, listen up, short stack. Your elders are about to give you some wisdom. Alright? This is the best piece of advice that I could possibly give you. When it comes to studying, actually, look, I've done a video about how to study. So go watch that. But the mind frame that you want for this year, your little year 12 year, little year where your mind grows pubes. You become more mature as a human being. I hope, anyway. A lot of people just go like, yeah, fuck that, just drink our goon, and oh yeah, mystery mark, that means I get a free beer. That's bad. That's thinking about the future in a way. I want you to do this every morning. In fact, I want everybody to do this. I think that this is one of the most beneficial practices that you could possibly use in day-to-day life. And it breaks up a lot of habits as well. First off, what I want you to think about every single morning when you wake up. First thing, go on a walk. What I want you to think about on that walk is what you're grateful for. And the second thing that I want you to think about, and this is the thing that really separates the boys from the men, year 12ers. Are you man enough to think about what you're excited about in life? Now, the reason that I want you to think about that, and I've discussed this before in the video, is because just the word excited, just the word happy. You know why that song by Pharrell did so well of because I'm happy? Because he just kept saying happy over and over. So at the end, this is what you think every time. I just feel happy when I listen to the song Happy. For some reason. It's just because you're saying the word. And so you know what that emotion is. You have a bank of memories to do with happiness. And so as soon as you say the word happy, I'm doing it right now. I feel happier just saying the word happy. But I think that a word that is much better when it comes to motivating yourself in life is excitement. I want you to think about being excited to study. And if you ask yourself, why am I excited to study? You will come up with answers. The answers that I came up with in year 12 was, this is going to help the rest of my life. Even if the things that I'm studying right now have no impact on the rest of my life, what will have an impact is I will have the discipline to study things. That has helped me exponentially through the rest of my life. The reason that you know who I am today is purely because I got excited about the idea of studying, and then when I got to university, I started studying things that I was actually interested in. And the thing is, when you start studying things that you're interested in, you retain more information. And when you retain that information and you're just being able to just be like geothermal or whatever you... I don't even know what geothermal really means. But what happens is when you're excited about what you're learning about, you retain more of that information, and the fact that you've retained that information means that you're a walking encyclopedia through life about that subject. You start becoming an expert in that subject. What are experts to society? They are valuable. What are most people? Not experts. Most people, actually, they are, but they're experts in things like fucking Love Island, like I am actually. I love that show, but they're expert. They major in minor things. But the thing is, if you link into your mind early on that you are excited to study, what happens is you start reading. If you start reading about more heady, difficult subjects, you realize that your brain feels better when it's learning about those things. And then when you go and learn just stupid shit, like just be like, what's on a TV week? Oh, Beck Hewitt. Is it over this time? When you read that kind of stuff, you're just like, ugh. It just doesn't have the same feeling in your head. That's going to help you for the rest of your life. That's why you should be excited about year 12, because it is a year where you are testing with yourself, that hyperbolic chamber of Dragon Ball Z that we've discussed before. It is that year where you are just sitting in the hyperbolic chamber for a year training. That's why you should be excited about it. How much can you handle? That's how you should be focusing on the HSE. It's not even about getting the mark to get into the university degree that you want, because as I've discussed before, university is not the be-all and end-all. But I legitimately think the HSC is actually more important. When I look back at it, the HSC to my life personally was more important than my university degree, because it got that habit established in my mind. So, of studying, that's what you should be doing. You should be excited about it. And then furthermore, to retain information in it, because you can trick your mind into being excited about anything. Even the subjects that you don't like studying, which I hope if you're in year 12, you actually pick subjects you like studying because you can do all of them except for English. And let's be honest, everybody hates English except for chicks that are never going to be very successful with guys. But everybody else doesn't really like English, right? But everything else you can choose because you're sort of interested in it. The thing is, you sit there and you think about, before you start retaining the information, why am I excited to retain this information? And actually, when it comes down to it, a lot of these subjects are interesting for the rest of your life because you've probably are useful for the rest of your life because you're interested in them now. And so that means it's probably your strong point. And if it is your strong point, that's what you should be focusing on naturally anyway, because you have that natural advantage. And so it's easier for you to become an expert in that field. And so, for instance, if you're interested in drama, just the fact that you are studying drama, it doesn't even mean that you have to become an actor. That is not the most important point. You know what I've noticed when my girlfriend started becoming an actor? She's become a much more interesting, engaging person. She was a suit before. It was basically like talking to a robot. Now, she's a much more rounded human being. And the reason for that is because drama makes you a more engaging person. It makes you think about how to communicate with that 93% of communication that most people don't ever think about, which is their verbal and, what's the other one? Hand gestures, body language. Makes them think about those things. This is the same with all of your other subjects. There will be advantages to studying them, and it is your duty in the morning, because this is the same thing. It's a lot of these things that you talk about in self-help. I've said it before, I'll say it again. All the principles in self-help are simple, they are not easy. True mastery, this is what you learn from the Karate Kid, right? It's just like, the art of true mastery is to do the same three things over and over again. I don't even know if they said that in the Karate Kid, but you know, you hear that when you've got your white belt in karate, don't you? That the key to success in life is basically just find a few actions and just keep repeating them over and over again. Now, the way that you are able to do that, the way that you are able to keep repeating those three things over and over again, while most people are like, oh, I'm bored, I'm gonna go watch Transformers 7. The way that you do that is by convincing yourself that what you are doing is important and what you are doing is exciting. That's the way through the maze. Now, the other thing that I want you to do every day, and this is just a practice, a quick meditative practice that I think works for everyone. First of all, obviously, look, you should be walking, you should be meditating, but there should be a point in the day where you just go outside and you think about how awesome the world is for 5 minutes. Just think about how incredible being alive is. Just how many weird and wonderful organisms there are, and the fact that this earth supports life when most of them are just barren desert wastelands. Most of them is just fucking Condobolin, but an entire planet. This one's not. There's just one Condobolin here. So the thing is, you just go out and you think about the amazingness of being alive, essentially. Now, the reason that you want to focus on the reason that being alive is amazing is because it actually engages back into your mind, oh shit, I actually am alive. And then what happens is your brain starts thinking, better make the most of it while I am, and then I'm healthy and able. And then instead of doing all these stupid, dumb, your question of just like, how do I stay on track? That's how you stay on track. The way that you stay on track is the way you just realize what Paul Keating's mentor said to him, Jack Lang, when he said, you think as a young man that you have all the time in the world. The reality is you haven't a second to spare. And that is the mentality of people that succeed in life. They don't waste time. They see that the most valuable asset they have is time. Because it doesn't matter. If you are a bum or a billionaire, you still get 24 hours in the day. That is the great equalizer in the world. And so, a lot of people always just go about just focusing on money and things like that. No, what you should be focusing on and seeing as the most valuable asset that you have is time. And I think that when you go outside and you just think about how incredible it is to be alive and what that actually means, it engages your mind again. And you think, yep, okay, back. It is like giving yourself a mental bucket water. It was just an ice bucket challenge. About I nominate myself. So that's my advice to you. Press the like button. Give me more questions. See you soon-ish. Bye.